Welcome to YLC, the Young Leaders Committee that promotes and grows youth leadership that ensures the future leaders lead from today by educating and inspiring them to soar higher and higher.
Welcome to YLC, the Young Leaders Committee, the platform that educates, enlightens, and inspires young people and walks them into leadership from their era. Young people, your leadership era has started. Waiting for tomorrow might be an exercise in futility. This is the second session of episode 1/19, and the theme is Perception to Performance. And in this video, we want to focus on the power of perception. Having looked at the concept in the previous video, we now turn to what perception can do or achieve, to look at the effects and impacts it can have or already has in organizations and the players in those organizations. This could be negative when leaders are not discerning and cautious. That's a timely warning. While this presentation does not intend to play down on the broad scope of the concept of perception, it desires to focus on perception as it affects leaders in their organizations. Perception affects leaders in their organizations. This relates to organizational effects, which inevitably include psychological and sociological dimensions, simply because human beings are involved. This presentation acknowledges the fact that leaders are human beings who have diverse senses that perceive. However, the focal point in this session is visual perception. Even then, we want to acknowledge two types of visual perceptions. First, perception with the outward or external human eyes, which are physical. Second, inward or internal human eyes, which relates to their power of imagination, which describes the work of the eye of the mind. The eye of the mind. As is the case with the physical human eyes, a leader's inner eyes or inner visual perception can be healthy or unhealthy, can be short-sighted or long-sighted, can be skewed or balanced, and sad to say, sometimes can be blind. Perception has great power. Its powers are diverse and have the potential to determine the fortune of both the organizations and the players. What do we mean by the power of perception? By power of perception, we mean how we in an organization receive, interpret, and respond to the stimuli around us and how they affect the outcome. This can significantly influence our behavior and our overall well-being. And that's why leaders have to be very careful. But by understanding and harnessing this power, we can transform challenging phases into opportunities for growth, improved mental health, and self-improvement. Those of you who watched the last video will remember that we isolated two levels or types of perception, which we refer to as directional perception and operational perception. Directional perception draws credible and vital concepts, modalities, and strategies from outside into an organization. It has the power to detect, decipher, and draw into the leader's organization facts and knowledge and ideas that are capable of enhancing growth and development in the organization. Directional perception usually bets new direction that may match the aspirations of the organization or of the players in the organization. This brings a new influence to the organization, which invariably impacts on the people in it and what they do or how they approach their work. Directional perception determines your view as a leader of the progress you see in other organizations because you are not alone in the industry. For instance, your perception could make you critical of them. It might make you to admire their progress and consequently get close to them, to learn from them. Or it can make you to brush whatever you observe outside aside and just go on the way you have been used to. Perception matters. That's the point we are making. Perception is a function of your personality and mindset. Some leaders may see beyond the visible progress in other organizations, which might stimulate them to greater search and advance. Want to say that even poor performance you perceive can fire your enthusiasm as a leader to tighten up your belts, or want to extend a helping hand to the organization where you perceived the poor performance. And by so doing, you are extending the borders of your own organization. It has been said, and that rightly, that no man is an island. In the same way, no organization can reach its peak without some other. And that's why we are advocating and counseling that even where you see poor performance and the doors can be opened for you, extend your borders, extend your help. Organizations are advised, therefore, to make directional perception a priority. Where possible, gather creative minds to dream for your organization and to think far into the future. That would make your organization a trailblazer. That might attract much return on investment for you and your organization. With reference to an earlier video, you may begin with a great productive hindsight. Look back in a very creative and productive way. Then transit to insight and then progress on to foresight. This works because the future is very often linked to the past. The future is often not in isolation. On the other hand, operational perception revitalizes an organization and the people in it. It influences interactions as well as relationships in the workplace. Our perception influences decision making. It influences leadership styles and team dynamics, very often in ways we don't even realize. But there are two major challenges with operational perception that we need to take note of. They are biases and undue intrusion of some personality elements. About this, Zelihik, a scholar, has something to say. She asserts that all persons have their biases, especially in relation to perception. This concerns operational perception much more than directional perception. Operational perception is really influenced by our previous experiences, our environments, work situations, contemporary and colleagues, as well as some personal elements outside the organization where we are leaders. These challenge the leader's ability to channel and utilize these to advantage, which is key to moving the organization forward. Zelihik propounded a strategy, which we are not going to discuss here, to mitigate or manage the biases in our perception, and is vital to growth and development in our setups. And we want to counsel you to look into it. You can use the author's name, Zelihik. In closing, we want you to note that your perception may not always be right. In all humility, therefore, please scrutinize your operational perceptions critically. When you are wrongly positive, you may be dangerously optimistic. The converse also applies. On the other hand, how would you handle correct negative perceptions? Your perception is correct, but what you perceived is negative. What do you do? How do you handle it? Our counsel is be the leader who can handle negative information and possibly make a positive use of it with care and conscientiousness. Last word, develop the eyes for the kind of perceptions that can further your organization. Thanks for watching. This is Young Leaders Committee, a mentoring group for the growth and stability of young leaders and prospective leaders. It promises potentials and opportunities for encountering all classes of young people and turning them around for excellence. Registration has commenced. The earlier you get registered, the brighter your chances. You can use the link on the screen or visit our website www.gedamconsult to register. It's free. Thanks. See you at the next session.